How to sew a classic shirt. Sewing for beginners. Sewing tutorials supported by AngelaKane.com membership, sewing pattern sales and fan funding. Part 7. Sewing the sleeves. This video will show you how to sew in the sleeve, matching notches and curves, and how to use a sleeve board for pressing. We are now ready to attach the sleeves. With a shirt pattern, it is usual to do this before joining the side seams. It makes the whole operation of putting in sleeves so much easier than using the set-in sleeve method. There is no reason why you shouldn't use this method for other simple garments that are not strictly tailored. Let's get the sleeve ready. I like to keep my pieces together with the pattern until the last minute. It is quite difficult to distinguish between the right and wrong sides of this printed silk. Check that you have transferred all the markings. That's armhole matching notches and the slash line for the bound placket. Be careful that you don't pull out the tailor's tacks when removing the pattern. Snip the tailor's tack carefully to separate the pieces. This is the armhole. This is the front piece. And this is the back. And the shoulder seam as a reference. As I said before, there is only a slight difference between the right and wrong sides, so pay close attention as you join the sleeves. Just remember, single notches to the front and double notches to the back. Start by matching the notches on either side of the sleeve head. Match the side seams. Then manipulate the curves so that the seams line up. The underarm curve on both the sleeve and the armhole will be similar. Pin at frequent intervals. Do the same with the back, matching the double notch and the underarm curve as before. Note that the shoulder seam is set slightly forward, so match the shoulder seam to the notch on the sleeve slightly forward of the sleeve head and match the top of the sleeve head with the corresponding notch on the shirt back. It may look like there's a lot of fullness in the sleeve head, but as you distribute it, you will find it disappears. The curve, being on the bias or cross grain, is malleable to an extent. Just gently persuade it to fit together. If the sleeve head had more fullness, you would need to use a gathering thread to help distribute the easing. Use as many pins as you need to keep the sleeve in place when you machine stitch. Always stitch a sleeve seam from the sleeve side so that you have control over the fullness, and you can correct if necessary as the fabric is fed under the foot. After stitching, trim the seam to about 1/4 inch and then zigzag the seam allowance together. That is usually the best method for shirts, but the seam could just as easily be pressed open. So we have 2 sleeves stitched and the seam allowance nicely neatened. This needs to be pressed. Use the sleeve board again if you have one and press the seam towards the sleeve. If you don't have a sleeve board, you can quite easily make a stuffed sausage shape from some spare fabric. It's best to use cotton so it will take the heat. Learn to use the tip of the iron to get close to the seam for a really good finish. If I was top stitching the seams on this shirt, I would be more inclined to press the seam the other way, away from the sleeve, and then top stitch the bodice side of the seam. This can look really nice. So from the right side, we have a perfect finish to our sleeve head. Sewing the bound placket is the topic of the next video. This easy PDF shirt pattern can be purchased from my site, and of course it is one of the many sewing patterns included with membership. Join for everything, or shop for individual patterns. For news of up-and-coming videos, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching.